Story time. I just want to share this story. God keeps bringing it forth to me, so I'm going to share it. So, in 2013, I moved to Texas. Didn't have any means. I had just been through a nasty divorce. I had a daughter that was demonically oppressed, behavior issues, maybe even possession at this moment in time. It was severe. Had a husband that cheated on me and left. And the Lord gave me a dream, and he told me that I was moving to Texas. And at this moment in time, I didn't know how I was going to get here. I didn't have any money. I just passed my RN college and had to take NCLEX. I was an LVN nurse at the time, and had the spiritual attacks on my household were so severe that CPS was involved with my child. The state of Iowa that I lived at was willing to pay my child for good behavior because it was that bad. They had just come out of the psych facility, had to put them there because the constant thoughts of suicide from demonic oppression. And actually, when that child went in to the facility, the doctor looked at me and said, "Your child's not possessed." I said, "I know." "Not schizophrenic." I go, "I know." "What do you think she is?" And I said, "Demonically oppressed. And I need you to protect her because they're coming for her." Well, remember, my daughter had been written on by demonic entities at birth to be tagged as a bride for Satan. She had been written on, and the warfare is severe when they're coming for that type of thing. Nonstop trials and tribulation all my life. My mom was a Satanist. So when I was getting ready I was told I was supposed to move to Texas. Otherwise, I would lose all of my children, is what the Lord said. My oldest was already living here. And so every time me and the kids went to pull up a place to live, only one apartment complex would pull up. This one apartment complex would pull up on my computer. No place else. I came and stayed with a friend. Two friends split my visit. Went around, got a job immediately, making probably close to $10 more as an LVN than I made where I was at. I had a move date of the 4th of July. Didn't have any money. Had no idea how I was going to move. Already paid for the apartment because it was only $150 to hold the apartment down. I mean, that was pretty good. Didn't know how I was going to do it. Was fighting already. Had a child that didn't want to come. Fought, and I mean, life was hell. When I say 5 days a week, I had between CPS or behavior specialists or visiting nurses coming to my house. They took over my home. The children's father was on drugs, so I tried to do like supervised visitation. They went over there. My children would fight constantly, and so they separated. Because he had a girlfriend, they allowed my son to go stay. I had to have them split. Well, my son got upset because the father would beat the girlfriend, and he would call after 2 weeks and said, "Come get me. I can't be here." And he told his counselor, "Hey, they're doing drugs." So what did they do? They went and searched and found meth pipes in the kids'. They hid them in the kids' toy box. Instantly, CPS is up in my life. CPS comes in. The minute she came in and saw a picture of Jesus, I felt it in my spirit, and I knew a war was on. Next thing you know, she's coming after me. I told her I was moving, but she's coming after me, telling me that I had to give this father rights that was a drug addict to see the kids. Made no sense to me at all. So we, out of prayer, I said, "Lord, if this is of you and you really want me to go, then you will make a way, because I have no money. I don't have a clue how I'm going to get there." 3 days before I'm supposed to be packed up, I'm going to cry, sorry. 3 days before I'm supposed to be packed up to move to Texas, my dad, I'd been praying. My dad was totally against it. Told me I was stupid, I was dumb, this was ignorant. His wife gave him, he had a change of heart, and he came and he said, how much do you need? And he paid for me. 1 second. He paid for me to U-Haul and get to Texas. And so we get here on 4th of July, we get moved in and everything. And 1 month later, and one of my children stayed with a friend to stay in the school back there because the fight was so hard. I mean, just making life. I mean, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy, what I have been through. Get here, find out there's no way, there's no refills for the psych meds, and they have my child on severe psych meds. Had to ask for her because you don't get insurance until you've been here 60 days, had to ask for her father and his girlfriend and the grandparents to help to keep her back in the counseling that she was in to get the meds. So she had to get sent back, which absolutely killed me. So when that happened, CPS sends me a letter and said, we didn't tell you could leave state. Just so you know, for all you people that have to deal with CPS, you don't want it. You don't want it. They have more power than the government. Told me I was, I didn't have their permission to leave the state, even though I had told her I was leaving, and it would have put my kids out of jeopardy. And I said, well, my daughter just moved back there for this. So now I was placed on the child abuse registry for child endangerment, even though she was under supervision of grandparents and actually staying with her uncle. So when that happened, I had to fly back to get my daughter. Well, meanwhile, when she went there, they wouldn't let me speak to her. They held her against me. I couldn't talk to her. And the stepmom would get violent with her because she had behaviors. And so when I get there, she's got bruises all over her legs. I had to take the police. I had to call my dad. I had to fly. I had to get a lawyer. But this is how God is. I had to get a lawyer. I'm trying to make it short because it's really not a short story. But when I got back there, I had to take the police. And they had to go to the door and they asked the child. They gave her a choice. Where do you want to go? And she chose her mom. And she came and she came home with me. My neighbors in Texas were Nigerians. These Nigerians, I learned so much about them. They were in the Celestial Church. And in the Celestial Church, you wear all white. Well, me and my daughter were the only white people. And we attended this church with my neighbors because they asked for us to come. The prophet there saw the gifts and the markings from God that were upon me and my daughter. They instantly went into witchcraft to try and manipulate the system, to try and get me to fall madly in love with one of the prophets that I had no interest in to begin with. And this neighbor was like, how did you change? Like, she knew instantly it was witchcraft, and she helped me break that off. But in the midst of that, I had to take my nursing boards. I had to fight to get my name off the child abuse registry. And mind you, I'm a pediatric nurse at this moment. So with that being said, I'm going to have to do a part 2. If you're interested in hearing more, I'll be happy to share. God has told me that I need to start sharing my testimonies of all the spiritual warfare that I've been under so that it can help others out there. So if you want to hear part 2, let me know and I'll share it later today. Shalom.